Gosh dog, I have to admit, not one of my favorite records off this fancy playlist, although I like some of his other stuff. Moby with Southside featuring Gwen Stefani of No Doubt at number 29, up from 31 on my fancy playlist of December 30th, 2000. One of Moby's biggest albums. It might have been his biggest album, called Play. About 7, 8, 9 singles came off that album. Back in the spring of 1980, it was Porcelain, the clean synthesizer of Porcelain. It was just awesome. And it envelops you. It's that clean sound. I just, well, anyway, Porcelain was one, that was back in the spring of 2000, I believe. And then there was Natural Blues that came after that, which sampled a Farrah Hall record called Trouble. I think Trouble So Hard, I believe was the name of it. It was a country blues thing that went back to the 1930s that Moby had sampled. But let's get to this record, Southside. Southside was probably a lot more commercial than Porcelain and Natural Blues, although Moby admits that it's probably not one of his favorite cuts off the album. Southside and I, not one of my favorites by him. Body Rock was a fantastic record by Moby, which came out back in the late 90s. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, but I swear he also did a James Bond theme that was just completely incredible back in 1997. I used to play his version of the James Bond theme when I was a volunteer DJ at the campus radio station about 4 or 5 years ago. Moby with Southside at number 29. Gwen Stefani sings on this. Now, the way Moby tells it, Gwen Stefani just walked into the studio while he was working on the album Play. Just right out of the blue. And Moby couldn't figure out what the hell she was doing in the studio, why she wanted to record with him. Because No Doubt, she was the lead singer of No Doubt, front and center of No Doubt. And No Doubt was taking off in popularity in the late 90s when Moby was putting together Play. She was a big rock star, and he saw himself as a has-been. But she nailed her vocals. She put some vocals on the music on the music to Southside, the track of Southside. And she did it beautifully. He was impressed with it. He wanted to use it. And this is the frustrating part. He wanted to use her vocals real bad. But there was a problem. Moby saw himself as not a great mixer. He tried to mix her vocals into the music. He tried. He could not get the results he was looking for. He couldn't get the proper mix of Gwen Stefani's vocals and the music and the track itself. He gave up. Therefore, the album version of Southside does not include Gwen Stefani's vocals. However, about a year later, Moby approached a friend of his who was a good mixer. And he was like, I tried to put Gwen Stefani's voice on this track that I've been working on. I just can't get it mixed. I'm just not satisfied. Can you do something with this? And his friend took it. He came up with a decent mix of Gwen Stefani's voice and the music to Southside, mixed the track really well. It was put out as a single. Therefore, you got two different versions of Southside. You got the album version, which doesn't have Gwen Stefani's vocals on it, and you got the single version, which features Gwen Stefani, and it's at number 29 on my fantasy playlist of December 30th, 2000.